In May 2020, the streets of India fell silent. The COVID-19 pandemic forced a strict nationwide lockdown, freezing the economy and restricting the movement of millions to contain a biological threat. As the lockdown took hold, the Bay of Bengal generated a massive cyclonic storm that intensified with immense kinetic energy in just days. This map tracks the trajectory of the storm, heading straight toward the densely populated coastline of West Bengal. The districts shaded in orange lay directly in the path of the cyclone. Authorities faced a logistical nightmare. They had to execute mass evacuations of millions of people into crowded storm shelters, while simultaneously trying to keep everyone 6 feet apart to prevent viral spread. Amphan forced society to navigate a catastrophic weather event while economically and biologically paralyzed by a global virus. On May 20th, Amphan made landfall. Wind speeds exceeding 150 kilometers per hour tore through the coastal forests with devastating force. The vast mangrove forest of the Sundarbans acted as a physical shield. This dense network of vertical roots protrudes from the mud, creating a friction barrier that absorbs the kinetic energy of incoming storm surges and blunts the ocean's impact. Even after the mangroves absorbed the initial blow, the storm reached Kolkata with enough force to overwhelm the urban grid. Neighborhoods plunged into darkness as massive power poles and tangled wires collapsed into flooded streets. Across 16 districts, the cyclone claimed 99 lives and damaged or entirely destroyed millions of homes. This table outlines the sheer scale of the macroeconomic damage. Looking at the housing, agriculture, and infrastructure sectors, total recovery needs exceeded 1 lakh crore rupees. Ecological barriers kept the death toll from climbing higher, but the region's physical infrastructure simply could not withstand a storm of this magnitude. Outside the cities, the disaster took a different form. Earthen embankments gave way, allowing toxic saline water from the ocean to pour across millions of hectares of agricultural land. Smallholder beetle leaf farmers were hit by both the storm and the lockdown. Their crop, pawn, is a delicate, labor-intensive vine grown inside traditional bamboo and thatch structures called barojas. The violent winds and heavy flooding flattened these protective structures, instantly destroying the standing vines and leaving any surviving leaves exposed to the elements. The strict national lockdown meant transportation networks were completely frozen. Even for farmers who managed to salvage a harvest, there were no trucks or trains to carry this highly perishable crop to regional or international markets. What would normally be a severe agricultural setback compounded into a total collapse of the supply chain, trapping farmers between a ruined harvest and closed markets. Relief operations faced immediate friction. Responders had to conduct rapid needs assessments by navigating deadly floodwaters while wearing full PPE to minimize viral exposure. In the chaos of these early assessments, traditional disaster data often misses the most isolated individuals. Persons with disabilities were especially vulnerable, trapped by both the physical wreckage of the storm and the social isolation of the virus. To reach them safely, local organizations turned to mobile money transfer systems. They delivered unrestricted digital cash directly to the smartphones of vulnerable households. Sending digital funds bypassed broken roads and physical supply lines entirely, providing immediate relief without risking biological exposure. For many communities in the Sundarbans, returning to normal farming is impossible. The storm surge left the soil so deeply poisoned by salt that traditional agriculture is no longer viable. Instead, communities are adopting floating agriculture. Farmers build long, narrow beds on buoyant structures made of bamboo and plastic drums, growing vegetables on top of the water to keep their crops away from the salty earth. At the policy level, a debate over future defenses continues. While the government pushes to plant millions of new mangroves to absorb future storms, local residents are demanding rigid, concrete river embankments for immediate protection against the rising water. Amphan demonstrated the limits of isolated defenses. Resilience in this new climate reality depends on a hybrid strategy, a combination of natural ecological shields, engineered concrete barriers, and highly adaptable social systems.